Good evening. Just a update here on the stock market for September 24th, 2022. Haven't been paying too much attention the last couple weeks. It seems like it's kind of the same old, which puts the efficient market hypotheses to the test. But yeah, looks like we're having a bad year. That was kind of expected after you were getting to midsummer. But I don't think anybody is happy or should be happy. The good news is that it's not going to change anything. But I think let's deal with what is causing the drop. The first school of thought is maybe the manipulation by the Fed, and the second school of thought is just maybe the inflation narrative. The first one, kind of hard to believe because they've been saying all along interest rates are going up, and they have to go up, and they don't stay at zero in any country at any time. So, if the Fed is been a little bit aggressive with that, and that would kind of be my concern there, is if they're trying to depress the market, which wouldn't make any sense because nothing good happens when you do that. It doesn't get anybody to do anything that you want them to. And as we've talked in the past, incentives are the way to get people to do stuff. Forcing people never works. Doesn't work on anybody at any time. So incentives are the way to get people to do things. So there's a big question there why the Fed would be doing that, and I have to think as long as this market continues to perform poorly, that's a large possibility, and we'll address the effects of that a little bit later. The second reason would be the inflation. Part of that's OPEC oil. Definitely, OPEC's a big factor there, and I put as big a blame on them as I do on the Fed. Um, People, they don't want to drive, then they want to drive all of a sudden. So you can't just shut down production and bring it back up that quickly. But that's not the whole story with inflation. And the second part of inflation is a little bit murky as to why that's happening. It's not solely due to interest rates. That doesn't affect the price of food. The production of food. A farmer probably doesn't even know too much about interest rates, to be honest. And supermarkets as well, they're dealing with what the cost of their food is and the demand for that food. And people need to eat, so there's kind of a stickiness there on the consumer's part. So the second part of inflation is a little bit murky, and that's always been not an expertise of mine. But even so, inflation is a possibility there. I ran into somebody someday who was talking about the food prices, and their wages aren't going up. So it's not good. But the good news is down the road that's unsustainable. So that's not going to continue where inflation outpaces people's paychecks, obviously, because they're not going to, at some point, they're just not going to have money for it. It's a fact. So that's the good news, that inflation will come down. Um, yeah. So that's kind of where the stock market's at right now. Not having a good year. Nobody, as I said, nobody's happy about it. The longest stretch, longest stretch of bad, kind of a bad stock market. If you look at it from I'm not talking from a percentage point, but if a duration of a bear market is about 2 years, and that's a lot of data. Now that's not normally the case. That's kind of like worst case scenario. So somebody buying today doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be underwater for 2 years. It's just kind of like worst case scenario. And we're not there yet. We're only probably about halfway there right now. But worst case scenario, a year from now, if we're still down, that would be approaching a record. It would not be good. But yeah, that's kind of where the historical data is at. And the other part I want to address is what kind of effect this has, if anything. And like I said, if anything, not good. As Bill Gates, those people are are not immune to this stuff. They shouldn't be happy about where it's at. And somebody without a portfolio, they're affected as well. You know, it eventually trickles in. You see the housing market coming down. The job market would probably be next. So even if you don't hold stocks, you're not really you know, unless you don't have a 401k. So everybody's kind of affected here, whether your exposure there is high or not. So um, not good, if anything, you know, as what kind of effect this has on society. So um, not good, you know, is kind of my answer there. You know, and you know, it brings up the question, why would the Fed do that? I don't know. I think a lot of these people are imbeciles. Um, they're not going to get anybody to do anything that's positive for anybody by manipulating or depressing the market. Um, and it certainly doesn't get anybody to do something that you want. So um, you know, at the end of the day, good beats evil. I believe that the market will come back. When, who knows? In the meantime, I think the people that are negative and trying to depress the market um, are not helping themselves. They're just making their position worse. You're going to look at maybe a retiree who's older, and you're going to eventually put some serious financial pressure on them. You know, somebody who's working hard and has originally had a pretty big 401k is going to start to see that pressure there. So nothing good will happen from doing that. And I myself, you know, obviously, like I said, everybody's exposed. I have a contingency plan for everything. Uh, so you know, I do make adjustments, and but like I said, nothing positive. Um, doesn't result in anything positive right now. So what are you gonna do? You know, but yeah, there you go. So um, yeah, I just got to. I'm trying to um, explain why um, everybody's kind of affected, but also is trying to say, okay, how do you deal with that? How do you, um, you know, if everybody's affected, I mean, you can run, but you can't hide. But you just kind of, you know, deal with what you got right now. And you know, that's not the ideal situation, but that's kind of, you know, where we are right now. So unfortunately, the Fed's kind of played the wrong hand, but it's not going to result in anything that they want. So that's where we're update right now. And if it drops lower, I'd be happy to keep posting videos, because if you know, like I said, they're not going to change anything. Thank you.